Hi guys, long time no see, my name is Lesia and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I've read during the BookTubeAthon, which ended a week ago, but still, let's get into it. So I've had such a busy month of July. I've managed to read 4 books during the BookTubeAthon. Let's get started with the book that I've read on my beautiful Kindle, and that has been The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan. I've started the Heroes of Olympus series and I managed to read the first book very quickly. It was the first book I finished and I completely loved it. I don't think I need to talk much about the Percy Jackson series and the series as a whole. Probably you've heard about it many times, but my favorite character, and I've had a while to think on it, from that book it's Piper. Piper is the daughter of Aphrodite and she's amazing. I just love her personality and I love the sense of humor that everybody has in this book, and it has been just a funny, witty read. The book that I've read after that was The Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, which I have been waiting to read for a very long time, and I found this book to be exactly what I expected it to be and I enjoyed it very much. And this is the kind of book that I think would be perfect for your constant source of inspiration to keep on your desktop, to keep on your coffee table for people that come in and just wanna read something refreshing while waiting while you make them a cup of coffee or tea. You don't really have to read the whole thing to get inspired. You can just pluck in chapters in different parts of it. It's a non-fiction book talking about creativity and the way that people pursue it. And one of the points that I really enjoyed in this book was Elizabeth talking about how some artists really think that they ought to suffer in the making of their art, and if it doesn't come to them with suffering, then it's not worth anything. But in fact, she's talking about this being the opposite of what she has learned and experienced, and that art that brings you joy is really a special thing. It will keep you charged, it will keep you going, and it will keep you feeling great. So I recommend this book very much. A 5-star read, definitely worth reading, worth having if you're a writer or a creative person, or for anybody who likes to do stuff, do hobbies, anything. This book is something very nice. The third book that I've read was Time for Bed by David Baddiel. That was a part of my challenge where I read only in night time, after 10 in the evening, and this has been such a tricky choice, mostly because I was really tired that week. I had a long day at work and I was really feeling like I ought to sleep, and this book is really funny, but it's also slow, and it's focusing on a main character who is an insomniac suffering from loss of sleep. He can't really fall asleep, and that was like such a hilarious thing to read as I was trying not to fall asleep, that I kind of appreciated the irony. The story follows this guy, Gabriel, who comes from a Jewish family and he's desperately in love with his brother's wife, and he doesn't really handle it in any way. He's just pining over her, and then he discovers that his brother's wife's sister is coming to town and to London, and he starts this thing that's going on with her. And yeah, it's a really interesting book. I really liked its perspective and it's a unique voice. It's a debut novel. I thought it was dark and funny and gritty at points, but also very explicit, so it's definitely an adult book. It's talking very openly about sex, about desires, about the inner desires that people generally don't really express, and that people may be feeling but they think it's not okay to talk about them, and this book kind of does it, because it kind of is on the verge of forbidden, but handling it in a very graceful, very mature way. What I liked about it the most is that it really feels like real life. It's not a movie kind of plot, it's not a chick flick, it's not your usual contemporary, it's something really special. And I gave this book 4 stars, I'm very impressed with it, and as a standalone it's purely wonderful. The last book that I've read, and the book that raised the most amount of questions for me, was Zenith by Lindsay Cummings and Sasha Alsberg. I thought it was published a bit too early. I think it wasn't really ready for that. It seems like it's in its first draft or more of that. I found several inconsistencies in the plot and the general resemblance between the plot. It's focusing on this ship called the Bloody Baroness, and at its head is this girl called Androma, or Andy, who is kind of the captain, and 3 girls from the crew, and they're kind of space pirates and roaming about, but in this book they're getting chased by the government in order to send them on a separate quest. And it's only several chapters, so it's very small, and I don't think it's enough text to actually be worth the amount of money. But anyway, I read it, and the biggest issue I've had with this was that the plot kind of reminded me of the standard of Firefly science fiction show, and also partially Farscape. But the main issue I've had was with the characters, because I found several inconsistencies. I haven't read Throne of Glass, but everybody seems to be pointing at several similarities. I can't really say much about that, but what I can say is that Androma as a heroine, she seems to be this tough, badass kind of girl, but we don't really see any evidence of that. We see her slicing through people like they're nothing, but then before in the prologue she was kind of mourning the people she had to kill on her way. The issue I had with this picture was that it wasn't really well balanced. I didn't really feel like the people that weren't the main heroes in the story mattered. It was just like they were meat or cattle, or they just didn't really have any weight in the story, and that really bugged me. I really didn't think that the subordination of the crew really made much sense. It was more like a bunch of girlfriends heading out for a tea party. I really didn't get that they were really having any authority in the pirate business. I didn't really see them handle it very well. I didn't really see them following the orders that the captain told them to follow. And I think that this all adds up to the whole experience and the ring of authenticity in this story. I was also very annoyed with the use of the word "fike", which was supposed to be a curse word in replacing of the word "fuck", and I found it really pointless, because there's such a vast array of words you could use to replace the word fuck with, like crap, damn, goddamn, gosh darn it, anything that actually people use in real life. This was like this fake word made up not to offend any sensibilities, and it didn't make sense, because if the situation calls for it, there is no reason not to use that word, and it can be excused in literature, and it can also be substituted accordingly, and it really sliced my ears open every time I encountered it, so it was a very big issue I had with the book. Mostly I didn't enjoy the violence being disregarded in the story, and the main plot really hints a certain future maybe love triangle, or at least a very angsty relationship about a girl and the guy who chases her across space, and they have to kind of learn to live together because they betrayed each other. And I don't think that at this point in the story I was really caring about the characters, and that was a very big issue for me. All in all, I gave the book 2 stars, and I think that with a good editor and a complete first draft, there can be really a lot of improvements done with this book, and it can still be published, but unfortunately I won't be buying the next installment of the book. I will probably wait to see if any publishing house picks it up and refines it, and maybe after that I will consider buying it. But at this point I am unfortunately not interested in the story. So there you go, guys, those are the 4 books I managed to squeeze into this short week of the BookTubeAthon. I'm sorry I didn't really manage to film any more challenges. It has been really a busy time. I hardly had any time to read. But maybe I'll still do several, because I have a script lying around for a couple of them, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And thank you for watching, and thank you for being subscribed to all my new people. It's really nice to have you here. And I'm going to film a wrap up for you guys next, so I hope you enjoy. Bye bye!